This is a broadcast of SmallCapVoice.com, a financial communications and investor relations firm. SmallCapVoice.com receives payment for investor relations and financial consulting services that it provides to its clients. You should assume that officers, directors, and employees of SmallCapVoice.com or financial analysts mentioned and their families hold a position and intend to trade in these securities for their own accounts. This is not an offer or recommendation to buy or sell securities. Information in this broadcast is presented solely for informative purposes and is not intended to be, nor should it be construed as, investment advice. As in all investments, an investment in the featured company carries an investment risk. Listeners should review the company thoroughly with a registered investment advisor or registered stockbroker. This broadcast does not purport to be a complete study of the featured company or other companies mentioned. Information used and statements of fact have been obtained from the featured company and other sources but not verified nor guaranteed by SmallCapVoice.com as to completeness or accuracy. Such information is subject to change without notice.
You're wired in. SmallCapVoice.com. Following is a presentation of SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support. Now, with your online business briefing, SmallCapVoice.com's Stuart T. Smith.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today at SmallCapVoice.com. And as you just heard, I'm your host, Stuart Smith. Now, we're welcoming back to the show PositiveID Corporation. Their ticker symbol is PSID. And we're lucky enough to be joined by the chairman and chief executive officer of the company once again, Bill Caragol. Bill, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Stuart.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to speak with us. I know you're out traveling and in meetings, so we appreciate your time here at Small Cap Voice. And we've interviewed you several times over the past couple of years, and during that time, you've told us a lot of important information regarding the M-band and Firefly technologies. Now you've got some very exciting news to talk about, but before we get started, for some new listeners that may not have heard about PositiveID's business model, will you go over that summary for us for the new listeners?
Absolutely, Stuart, and thank you again for having me. To put into perspective what we're talking about and what we recently talked about with our news, it's important to look at the two products and technologies that the company has developed. And importantly, as you mentioned, our M-band product, which stands for Microfluidic Bioagent Network Detection System, was developed under Department of Homeland Security contract, for which we received over $30 million of funding. To develop this product for a specific purpose for Department of Homeland Security, which was to replace the current generation of BioWatch system. The BioWatch system, as it exists today, is a system of biodetector screens or filters that are placed throughout the country and is a manual process where a technician on a daily basis will go out and pull the screen, take it back to a lab, and test it for the important bioagents that the department has on its focus list to test for potential weapons of mass destruction, specifically hazardous bioagents. This process, this manual process, can take between 36 to 48 hours to report a result, at which point in time action can be taken. When the department envisioned the next generation BioWatch system, again for which our M-band system was developed, it wanted to automate that process, create a lab in a box that would be able to take automated air samples and, in this automated lab in a box, test them for the bioagents that we are watching for, and to be able to return results in 3 to 6 hours. That's the system that we developed. Over the course of the past 2 years, we've taken that same platform of intellectual property and know-how and taken some of the important sample processing and other modules within that M-band device and created a design that will allow us to be able to do point-of-need diagnostic testing, molecular diagnostic testing, again, out of the lab and out in the field for samples, whether they be wet samples, environmental samples, anything where you want to test at the DNA or RNA level to be able, again, to do it in a handheld device. That device is what we call our Firefly product.
Well, very good. And you just announced some great news related to your M-band system with a unit of UTC Aerospace Systems. Can you please tell us more about that agreement?
Yes, we were very pleased to announce that at the end of last week. That agreement with UTC Aerospace Systems, a division of United Technologies, is a subcontract with UT so that we can perform work under a program that's called the Jupiter program with the Department of Defense. As we disclosed in our 8K, this first phase contract, which will run over the next 7 months, will bring in the total contract value is $841,000. And importantly, we will be delivering our M-band devices to the Department of Defense in conjunction with UTC Aerospace in order to have them tested and evaluated under the DoD Jupiter program. As I mentioned earlier, the system was developed for Department of Homeland Security and the next generation of BioWatch system. But when developing this, I think we all envisioned that an important population that we would all be protecting with these systems in the future would be Department of Defense, and specifically foreign bases, and putting in a system to be able to protect our warfighters. We are hopeful that this is the first step in that process of moving forward with Department of Defense, in addition to our work in the future with Department of Homeland Security.
Well, it is very good news that PositiveID is receiving revenue for this agreement. What other sources of revenue do you foresee in the company's future?
Well, over the course of 2014 and 2015, in addition to sources of revenue coming through this contract and extensions of this contract, we also believe that the next generation BioWatch procurement will begin. We expect that it will begin with a testing and evaluation phase, which will provide the company revenue over the course of the next year to 2 years. What that will lead to with the M-band product is the ability to, by the end of 2015 and into 2016, be in a position where, with our partners, we will be able to move forward in a deployment and a commercial revenue ramp. As we previously discussed, the estimate put out by Department of Homeland Security in their initial RFP for the next generation BioWatch system is a $3 billion system. And that's why it's critically important that we have and continue to partner with companies like Boeing, who is a licensed and teaming member of ours, and who will be the lead in this next generation BioWatch, as well as a company like United Technologies and UTC Aerospace. This is a very big opportunity. It's a very important opportunity. And having large partners like them in place to lead our efforts with our technology and our product is critically important.
Well, once again, listeners, we're speaking with the Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of PositiveID Corporation, ticker symbol PSID. Our guest today is Bill Caragol. Now, Bill, we've talked a lot about the M-band system and this great new piece of news that came out, listeners, March 31st. Use that ticker symbol PSID. We've been talking about the signing of the agreement with the UTC Aerospace Systems for U.S. government contract. There's the headline for you. But let's move on to Firefly. Are there any updates in regarding to the Firefly product?
Yes, Stuart, and certainly given the current news, we've been talking a lot about M-band. But as we've discussed in the past, the Firefly and being able to complete the development of a handheld molecular diagnostic device, we believe is critically important to the future value of PositiveID. And we are and continue to be in active discussions with a number of large and important partners about being able to move forward in that development process. If you look at our business model in bringing these big and important technologies to the market and use M-band as the example, being able to work with organizations and agencies like Department of Homeland Security, like Department of Defense, working with partners like Boeing, like United Technologies Aerospace, and companies like Leidos, with which we also have a teaming agreement. That is our model for how we will continue to move forward and look to partner and to find the right alliances as we move forward with Firefly. So we're very encouraged with where we are. We'd always like to to that next step faster than we are. But I will say that we're very encouraged by where we are in our active discussions in moving that forward.
Well, looking forward, what catalysts should investors and potential shareholders look for during the remainder of 2014 for PSID?
Well, Stuart, I think I would advise people to watch our performance and our execution under this contract with this important customer, Department of Defense. Further, I would look for progress towards revenue and ultimately commercial revenue as progress develops with the next generation BioWatch system with the Department of Homeland Security, and further to watch for important strategic partnerships and agreements that advance the completion and development of our Firefly product. These are the important initiatives that we focus on over the next 12 months, and we will continue, as we have in the past, to execute against that plan, and we'll look forward to announcing our progress as we make those important steps.
Well, Bill, I want to thank you for your time here today at SmallCapVoice.com. And listeners, I want to point out the company's website so you can visit them at PositiveIDcorp.com. Of course, here at SmallCapVoice.com, we've got links to keep you in the know. That's to their SEC filings, their press releases, real-time quotes, and, of course, these audio interviews. If you'd like to reach out to the company directly, do so by contacting Allison Tomac at 561-805-8000, and her email address, which is all located at the bottom of the press releases, atomac at PositiveIDcorp.com. Bill, thanks again for stopping by here at SmallCapVoice.com. Congratulations on this great news, and we look forward to more great things from you and Positive ID here in 2014 and beyond.
Stuart, thank you so much.
All right, for Bill Caragol, this is Stuart Smith saying thanks so much for listening.
SmallCapVoice.com, today's leader in investor relations, capital formation, and retail support, provides its clients with the highest level of service. Our audio interviews are disseminated to one of the largest opt-in audiences available today. How? We at SmallCapVoice.com believe in aligning and affiliating ourselves with other leaders within the investor relations community. By sharing resources, each affiliated firm is made that much stronger, and each client is served that much better. Our focus is to identify and provide the very best financial services and solutions available to clients and their shareholders. For more information about our services, please call us at 512-267-2430 or visit us on the web at www.smallcapvoice.com.